Hey, everybody. Welcome. I have such an incredible guest with me. She is just as beautiful inside as she is outside. My dear friend, Kirsten, please introduce yourself to the listeners.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Um, I'm Kirsten Toler. I'm a CPA. I am the managing principal of KMT Consulting. It is a tax advisory practice that specializes in working with small to medium-sized business owners and individuals.
Wow. So that kind of like makes me shake a little bit because for those of you who know me, I was in the public accounting world, and Kirsten, that's some
PTSD.
tough work. That is some tough work that you do. You have to have tough conversations, I am sure. But
Yes.
that's exactly why I have you here today, because you have so much value to add on the decision you made to start your own practice. Like, this is fairly recent. And I would love for you to share that story with the audience because, there's a lot of people thinking, because of the great resignation, which we've talked about,
Mhm.
should I leave? Should I stay? What are
It's like
some
that
things?
song. Should I stay or should I go
Should
now?
I go? Yeah, you said it way
Yeah.
better. But anyway, tell us a story, Kirsten. Tell us a story about your decision-making process.
So the process itself was something that in hindsight was metamorphosizing over a number of years. So it wasn't a knee-jerk reaction, certainly. And I would encourage anyone who is considering this, the financial person in me, of course, wants people to be mindful of the fact that, you want to have some ducks in a row financially before you make a leap and, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
However, I would probably say that about 2 years ago, there was a shift in my perspective of where I was going in the firm that I was with and where I was really going in the firm that I was with. And I
Mm.
think that I resisted that for a long time because I'm the type of personality that's like, I can do this, so I'll make this work. And over time, I've realized that I am never going to fit in here. It was
Mm.
not the environment for me. It started out that way. I certainly had that message delivered to me when I joined. And in joining my old firm, it was a huge leap of faith for me because my LLC has been in existence for a long time. I actually formed the LLC in 05, and I started doing tax work on my own in 97 when I passed the CPA exam. So that
Wow.
dates me. Yeah. So for me, in joining this firm, it was the first time that my market intersected with a market at an employer. And so I had to bring my book with me. That was a huge leap of faith for me because that was my baby. I had an old boss in consulting that said, if you're going to do this work on the side, if you like it, he's like, make it your retirement plan. When you leave consulting, when you leave corporate America, that you'll always have that. And so you can do that anywhere, anytime.
Right.
But flash forward, I began to realize through conversations that I was having, through some rather intense psychological experiences that I was having, that this was not going to be the right fit for me. And so the parting of ways was mutual. I didn't fit into their schematic, and I was just becoming less and less of myself, trying to fit into a space that wasn't mine.
Sure.
And so in making that move, I've had about a year now, a little over a year now, to reflect on it. And I am so grateful that it happened. I am so
Mm.
grateful that I didn't fit into that space. And now I am noticing that the clients that I wanted to serve are the clients that I now serve. In my old firm, I had to bring my book because at the time we served the same market. Well, 2 years into my tenure there, my clients weren't desirable anymore. And
Mm.
you begin to wonder, was there much thought put into my coming there at the time that I did? Did the firm not expect to grow? Like, what did, what kind of culturally did they think was going to happen? And the only thing that I can think of is that they didn't. And so being part of an organization that doesn't see you fitting in after a certain period of time, you begin to question your faith in that culture.
Yeah.
And so being on my own now, I'm able to work with clients that I've always wanted to work with. And quite honestly, after some very arduous negotiation, which the year is up now, so I could dish on it, but I won't because I'm a lady. But after a very arduous negotiation, 99% of my clients followed me.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
some I had
true
to pay for because there's in any
an
kind of
agreement.
professional service, there's a
Yeah,
non-compete, right? So you have to
sure.
be very, very respectful of that. But here I am, and not to mention the fact that I have a slew of new clients, people I've always wanted to work with, people I networked with during the pandemic when many of my colleagues at my old firm were not taking advantage of the opportunity to Zoom and meet new people.
Right.
And so I felt like all of the things that I was kind of doing organically, because working remotely, you're not kind of in front of people all the time who are sort of directing your path. I realized that, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can work on my clients. I could, provide a solid service there, but I can also do the things that I like to do. And a big part of that was business development, and figuring out how to do that during the pandemic was unbelievable.
But
But
you
now,
survived, right? And
right.
so, but you, if I like, you went through a transformation here, is what we're talking about.
Mhm.
Not just, there was an amazing awareness. That was like your first big thing. And then
Mhm.
you took that and defined it into you and your strengths and your value. And I think just getting to that, Kirsten, getting to that understanding of our self-worth and self-value,
Oh,
like
wow.
that is what we need as entrepreneurs and solopreneurs to do business development. But putting that outside, that's what we need to live,
Mhm.
right? We have to truly believe in ourselves and be our own best friend, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's a testament to your strength, and putting the technical stuff aside, but your emotional strength and your wherewithal.
Oh my
And
gosh. Yeah.
because of this, you're attracting all the clients that you want and need,
Yep.
right? To
Yep.
to make you whole. So congratulations to you, because that is truly that's impressive. So you went through the decision maker process. What can we offer to our listeners to help guide them, as if they're in a similar decision making process to leave, but is it intuition, paying attention to their gut? Like, what kind of red flags or things that they should pay attention to make them more aware of moving forward?
So that's a really good question. And I think it will be an individual experience for each person dependent upon their industry.
Mm,
So for me, in my industry, it is historically a male dominated industry, right? And that's not a knock, it's just a fact.
fact.
As generations are coming up through the public accounting realm, there are more and more women who are entering into this space. I mentor a few at Ryder, which is my alma mater. So I can see very different shifts in their perspective of how to go into this space. I would encourage anyone who is in a position, especially as you begin to kind of move up through the ranks of a company. At some point, there will be a fork in the road. And either you're being supported to move in one direction, or you're not being supported to move in that direction. And for me, because my emotional side of how I navigate business and how I work with my clients, like my emotional intelligence is something that I've come to accept and love about myself. And
Good.
for the longest time, it was almost like a hindrance to me because the environment that I was in did not embrace that.
Right.
And being better at my job meant that I did hone in on this, and my clients appreciated it. And the people that wanted to work with me appreciated it. It doesn't mean I'm best friends with my clients, but it means I genuinely care about them.
Right.
And it's not just smoke and mirrors and, hey, buddy, happy birthday, and like sending like a random text or something. It's that my clients feel like they can trust me and reach out to me anytime. So I would encourage anyone who begins to, and you will feel it in your gut.
Right.
Listen to your gut. Life is too short to allow someone else to dictate your worth. If you don't feel like you're being heard, if you feel like you're being gaslighted, because it happens, if you're doing things and you feel like nobody's really noticing what you're doing, I will tell you with confidence, it is not a reflection on you. You are not in the right environment.
Thank
And
you.
that doesn't mean that you jump and go nuts and, I'm out of here and screw you. And, there has to be a diplomatic exit. And you have to put thought behind it, because emotionally you may be driven to just jump.
Right.
But I would encourage anyone who begins to feel that inkling in their gut that something is not quite working, no matter how hard they're trying, to begin to think, what other options do I have?
That is so important, right? Because we all have a gut and we just sometimes
Ignore it.
we
Mhm.
ignore it and we're just like,
Mhm.
nope, I have to stay here. I have a mortgage. I have a family. I have no choice, but we do. And it's
Mhm.
just starting to think about it. And like you said, don't run out. Just start thinking about it and grab as many thought partners as you can. All right.
Great,
This has
great
been a
advice.
really serious conversation. I want to make it fun now
Okay.
because you have a great laugh and we want to make people laugh. But, all right. So thank you for sharing your story. I think it's really important that people understand it does take, different decisions and ultimately to be confident in your value and your worth. So that's our
Absolutely.
quick summary. So here's the fun part, which you know what's coming, but because I know you've listened to the podcast because you're so awesome
Love it.
and
I love it.
thank you in supporting me, my dear. So what is your favorite article of clothing or accessory of all time? And how does it make you feel?
So I thought about this, and mine kind of shifts, but this morning when I was thinking about it, because I knew you were going to ask me this question. So I have this, since it's cold weather now, right? I'll go with a cold weather article.
Okay.
I have this, I don't even know how to describe the material. It's sort of this like fluffy, soft, casual, like sweater top. And it wasn't expensive. I don't even remember where I got it. But what I do remember is that every time I wore it, my kids, my daughters are now 15 and 19, but my kids loved snuggling with me when I wore
Oh,
this shirt. And every time I wore it, they would kind of bury their face in my shoulder. And they would always tell me, Mommy, you always smell so good. You smell just
oh.
like my mommy. And I was like, do I need to wash this shirt? No, I'm just kidding. But I just remember wearing that and thinking about it. And I'm actually in the process, now that the weather seems to be colder, of kind of swapping out my closet and kind of bringing more cold weather clothes into my mix. And so I'm going to make sure that that's back in my rotation now that my girls are teens,
Right.
they're and they see me in this, they always comment anytime I wear it. I love when you wear that
Oh,
shirt, Mom. Yeah. So it's
oh,
my
that's
mom
such a
shirt.
warm, that's the warmth that we needed on this cold day.
Yes.
Just how it makes you feel. And you just hit the nail on the head because that's ultimately just what I'm looking for people to express, not just the article of clothing, but how it makes them feel. And just,
Mhm.
I can just feel the love through your description. So thank you for sharing that. That is so super cool. All right, my brilliant friend, if someone wanted to have a business conversation or otherwise, because of the emotional intelligence piece, you're pretty intelligent there too. What's the best place for people to get a hold of you, Kirsten? I will put it in the show notes, but you have so much to offer. How can we get them to reach you? What's the easiest and best place?
Oh, thank you. I found that the easiest way for people to reach me is through my website,
Okay.
which is www.kmtconsultingllc.com. There's a contact me page. I immediately am notified. And then it makes it really easy so people don't have to remember an email or phone number. They can just look me up on the web and there I am.
Awesome. I will absolutely put that in the show notes. And thank you so much for your time and generosity today. It was a pleasure, Kirsten. I really appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you too, my friend. Definitely. Thank you so much.
I'll see you next time.